Right now, a fire displacing 13 people on the east side, what we know so far.
Plus, the president announcing another round of tariffs, how much American businesses will have to pay.
And we have added alert day conditions for later today. We'll time out the storms coming up.
Well, good morning and thanks for tuning into News 3 Now this morning. Today is Thursday, or as we like to say here, Little Friday.
Little Friday.
Yes, it is. I'm Michelle Renee Quinn alongside meteorologist Savannah Brito and Chris Stanford.
That's right. So Savannah just issued an alert day for some storm chances for later on. We've got an active stretch here that you're going to be tracking over the next few days.
Yeah, we do. Not only today, the only alert days for today right now, but it'll be stormy today, tomorrow, and Saturday. Better weather returns by Sunday, so that'll be the better half of this upcoming weekend for sure. But yeah, alert day conditions, we just put those in for later, mid to late afternoon, early evening, and potentially the early nighttime hours too. We've got a very stormy pattern with multiple chances for storms going forward. Basically, the best chance, Madison and especially areas west, that including the Platteville area, places west of Camp Douglas and Black River Falls, Lone Rock, and Monroe for later today. The Storm Prediction Center did add in an isolated tornado threat. That's the main reason why we're calling for alert day conditions. All modes of severe weather ultimately are not off the table, though. That's for later in the afternoon and evening. This is what we're waking up to right now. No severe weather is expected this morning, but we do have some spotty showers. All those storms are well west of here right now. Could see a morning round. That should not be strong, but later in the day is what we're worried about. We'll all time that out coming up.
All right, Savannah, thank you. Folks, you can track those storms yourself with the free First Warn weather app. Get it wherever you get your apps.
New overnight, 13 people are displaced and 8 cats are dead after a fire on O'Brien Court. That was near I-90 and I-94.
Madison Fire Chief says multiple people called from the interstate about a house on fire. It happened at about 10:30 on O'Brien Court. The fire chief told News 3 Now they were able to save 5 cats.
So we did have one firefighter who did get injured. We ended up saving 5 cats, and they got scratched by one of the cats. So we did have one person that was injured.
The Red Cross is helping those displaced as the fire remains under investigation.
In national news this morning, President Donald Trump says imports from Brazil and 7 other countries could face double-digit tariffs August 1st. Trump is threatening to force American businesses to pay a 50% duty on goods they import from Brazil. He's calling the trial of the former Brazilian president Jair Bolsonaro a, quote, witch hunt that should end immediately. Trump says he also has informed Algeria, Iraq, Libya, Moldova, Sri Lanka, Brunei, and the Philippines of upcoming 20 to 30% flat tariffs on their products.
Well, get ready to pay more for toys. The CEO of Hasbro is warning that the company could raise prices this fall. It makes toys like Play-Doh, Transformers, Candyland, and Dungeons & Dragons. Hasbro's main international suppliers are China and Vietnam, which the Trump administration has slapped some pretty steep tariffs on. So look for price hikes starting this August through October. About half of the company's products are already made in the U.S., which wouldn't be affected.
NVIDIA is the first publicly traded company to hit $4 trillion in market value. NVIDIA stock is up about 20% this year, thanks to its leading role powering the AI boom, and effects from the U.S.-China tech war haven't been as bad as expected. Apple entered this year as the world's most valuable company at about $3.9 trillion, but it fell off in recent months amid President Trump's tariff turmoil.
After a solid day on Wall Street yesterday, let's see how the markets are reacting this morning. They are down just a bit. Dow futures are down 61 points in overnight trading. The NASDAQ and S&P are pretty flat.
And back at home, if you live in Dane County, a new initiative to stop the spread of sexually transmitted infections is making its way to your phone.
The new public health program would work to inform you if a potential STI was a risk through a dating app. Public Health Madison Dane County staff has long worked to keep people aware of their sexual health, but as the dating landscape changes, so do their methods.
So typically when somebody is diagnosed with an STI, our staff work with them to contact their partners and make sure that those partners can get tested for the STI. More and more people are meeting their partners online.
So through the digital service, the original point of contact with public health will remain anonymous to protect all parties' identities.
The local organization Gigi's Playhouse is on the move. The nonprofit is looking to expand opportunities for those with Down syndrome, so it's raising money for a new home in Fitchburg. They're currently located on Madison's east side on Monona Drive. Leaders there say being located in Fitchburg will give them a more centralized location. Gigi's Playhouse is a nearly 100% volunteer and donation-based organization that offers therapeutic and educational programming for individuals with Down syndrome.
I am completely blown away and full of gratitude, because when I started, we had just over 250 families. We now have over 400 families that we're serving, and this new space is going to allow us to reach even more people and serve them in even more impactful ways.
When completed, the new building will double the space they currently have. Their goal is to raise $4 million, and as of this morning, they're halfway there.
Well, in the Milwaukee area, 98% of Milwaukee County Transit Union members have authorized a strike, with negotiations set to resume today. CBS 58 reporting that one of their frustrations is that they don't feel equal with the transit system here in Madison. Mike Brown, vice president of the union, says if you look at other transit systems within our network, we're way behind. We're behind Madison. We're bigger than Madison. It comes as Milwaukee County officials announced a $10.9 million deficit for the transit system.
Whitefish Bay businessman and Republican Bill Berrien is launching his bid for governor. Berrien's website says he's campaigning on boosting Wisconsin manufacturing, supporting President Donald Trump's immigration policies, and lowering taxes. Berrien is the second Republican to formally enter the races. And on the Democratic side of the aisle, Carthage College student Zach Roper is the only person to have declared for the race. Wisconsin's next gubernatorial election is set for November 3rd, 2026.
A retired Wisconsin police officer has found a meaningful way to honor fallen officers while providing comfort to their families.
As Susan Kim shows us, it involves an artistic touch.
Retirement is treating Greg Freeberg well. After a lifetime in law enforcement, he is enjoying his horse farm, family, and drawing.
It displays some of the work that I've done, just to share with friends.
That sharing in 2018 unknowingly started a tradition.
I started with, Chuck there. They call him Chucky, I guess. He really looked young for his age.
Then he drew Michael Mahalski and Matthew Rittner.
It just became a routine in a way, a sad routine. But when it happened, then I took pen to paper and went to work.
Peter Jerving in 2023, and now Officer Kendall Corder.
You have Officer Corder done already.
With Officer Corder, I did 2 drawings, and both of them wound up in the garbage. I just looked at them, I said, no, this ain't flying. And I finally did the 3rd, and I said, yep, we got it now.
Getting it right is important to Freeberg. Between his time with New Berlin Police and Wisconsin Capitol Police, he has devoted more than 50 years to law enforcement.
It's a brotherhood. It's family. Police departments and officers, no matter where you go, once they know that you're a fellow officer, you're a brother.
He wanted to do something to help his brotherhood. Drawing these portraits became his something.
I thought the family of the fallen officers would appreciate something like that and might take a little of the grief away from them. It's all I can do. I certainly can't bring them back to life, but I can maybe just in a small way help out a little bit.
Freeberg frames his creations and gives them to Milwaukee Police to keep or pass on to the families. We saw his drawing of Peter Jerving hanging at Milwaukee Police headquarters. They also had his new drawing of Officer Corder.
What is your hope?
That I don't ever have to do another one. That's my hope.
Freeberg also donates his work for fundraisers and expects nothing in return. Officer Kendall Corder's funeral is set for tomorrow.
Oh, such a talent, and he's using it in such a meaningful way. You can just tell, hearing him talk, how much the law enforcement community means to him and his personal attachment.
Yes.
Oh, and how his heart goes out to all of those families, and giving it through his talents. Just incredible.
An amazing story of giving
portraits.
back. Yes, absolutely.
Susan Kim reporting there. Well, heading now to some updates on some road closures. Starting Monday, Cherokee Drive and Tacoma Road are set to close. They will both reopen on July 23rd. Manitou Way will reopen and then close again on that same day. Traffic should use the main detour route on Midvale Boulevard and Odana Road.
Happening this weekend, multiple streets on Capitol Square will be closed for the art fair on the square. The closures on your screen begin on Friday at 3 p.m. They'll reopen on Sunday at 9:30 p.m. And you can find all this information on the City of Madison website. And stay with us. Josh will be previewing art on the square coming up here in the 608. A summer program is benefiting kids, seniors, and dogs. Wisconsin Possum Partners trains future service dogs with the help of elementary school students.
Yeah, it gives them the opportunity to bond with older adults and learn everything canine. Each day, volunteers meet with an expert in the canine field, like a dog groomer, a canine officer, or a search and rescue. Students, volunteers do everything from snuggles to bathroom breaks to getting the dogs ready to ace their seeing eye dog test.
I'm trying to distract the dog, so it's like when they're like leading the people around, then and if there was like a squirrel walking by, then it wouldn't bark at it and jump up at it and knock the person down.
The program helps to bridge the generational gap and gives both students and the elderly a chance to bond. Now, Michelle Renee, you are a cat person.
I am.
What about dogs?
You know what? I think this is a great story. I'm definitely a dog person as well. I grew up with 5 pugs.
Oh.
Yes, 5 pugs. My grandma did a little pug foster for a while, so some were in and out, and yes, so dogs literally, they bring people together, no matter the age.
Of all generations.
Exactly,
right.
Exactly. Well, let's check in now with Savannah. What's coming up?
Well, guys, we've added alert day conditions for later in the day. We're getting into an active and very stormy pattern, not only today, but the next few days. We'll have more on that, including today's alert day coming up.
And we're working for the weekend in the 608 this morning. I'll have your 3 things to do just ahead.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
Good morning and happy Thursday. Everything's pretty quiet for now. We do got a little bit of patchy fog out there, but a pretty start out in Madison, 64. We do have some sunshine. Our dew point sitting at 61. These are going to climb higher than what we had yesterday. Same with our temperatures, and there is a storm chance. We're getting into a really active pattern today. We did go with alert day conditions, strong winds, hail, and even that isolated tornado threat. The Storm Prediction Center did introduce the isolated tornado threat. That's the main reason behind the alert day conditions that we have added for later. Basically, areas west, that's where the best chance is, but including Madison and on that, because I do think there'll be a little bit of wiggle room, it is possible that those storms do hold when they hit Dane County and then kind of weaken as they travel east and southeastward. That's for later this afternoon and evening, roughly a time frame mid to late afternoon into the evening and early nighttime hours. This is what I was talking about with areas not included in Madison or Dane County, but I am going to keep with that for the alert day conditions. The best chance ultimately Monroe, Lone Rock, and then also west of Camp Douglas in the Black River Falls area. It's a low threat, but because of the isolated tornado threat, we're watching that. We're also watching tomorrow closely. We'll talk about the differences between today's threat and tomorrow in just a bit. We could yet still see a few showers this morning into the early afternoon that could zap the atmosphere and the energy needed, but I still do think we'll have some activity later in the day. That's the mid to late afternoon moving in west of here, and then you see those oranges on reds. This is as we head for that 8, 9, and even 10 p.m. time frame. So yes, I do think that'll carry us into the early nighttime hours too. That's something we'll have to watch. And then we're not going with alert day conditions yet for tomorrow because 1, there's no isolated tornado threat. And 2, because this yellow, that's the slight color, slightly higher than the green, a level 2 out of 5 when it comes to severe weather chances. That's down even south of Monroe, basically more widespread across the northern Illinois region. If they bring that up or introduce an isolated tornado threat like they did today, we will go with alert day conditions for tomorrow as well. And then we carry over that storm threat into Saturday too, most of the area with the green color. So out of the next 3 days, any storm that does form could be on the strong to severe side. We're really hitting on the gusty winds. winds, hail, and then the heavy rain or downpours that we're going to see, but also got that isolated tornado threat only today right now. We're keeping a close eye, though, on Friday and into Saturday, too. The good news is by Sunday, dry weather will return. That'll definitely be the better half of this upcoming weekend. A little warmer, a little less humid, and temperatures rise a little bit more than even the day after that on Monday, up to 86. Could see some upper 80s too, and that's when humidity levels will come right back up before storm chances return by midweek next week again.
Oof.
It's active.
It is
We got
definitely
a couple of drier
active.
days too.
A lot
I'll
of
take
stuff
the
going
drier
on,
days.
too.
Yeah.
I mean, we got La Fête Marquette going on for the next 4 days. You had Art Fair on the Square.
Art Fair off the square.
Off, right.
On, off. There's all of them.
Yeah, so you've got farmers markets at WISC-TV. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff going on this weekend, as the summer months typically are here in Madison. But yeah, definitely going to be one of those stretches. We're going to need to be weather aware and plan accordingly because of all this rain in the forecast.
And you can do that by staying on top of alert day conditions by downloading the free First Warn Weather app. Find it wherever you get your apps.
All right, now talking about the weekend, there is a lot going on. We got somebody working for the weekend in the 608 today.
Josh Brider is here now with his weekend planner. Good morning.
Hey guys, you know I'm always working for the weekend, and we have another busy weekend in store for us here in southern Wisconsin. Here are my 3 things to do this weekend in the 608. The annual Art Fair on the Square returns to downtown. The Madison Museum of Contemporary Art is hosting the 67th annual event on Saturday and Sunday. And new this year, a beer and wine garden as they partner with Working Draft Beer Company and Square Wine Company. You can find a full list of participating artists on channel3000.com. Also heads up, because of this event on the Square, the Dane County Farmers Market will be at Breeze Stevens Field. Also happening Saturday and Sunday is the 46th annual Art Fair off the Square along Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. This is sponsored and produced by the Wisconsin Alliance of Artists and Craftspeople. It is a nonprofit forum to promote and create contact between Wisconsin artists and craft people and the public. WAAC takes pride in having been created and operated by the artists themselves. And finally, La Fête Marquette returns to McPike Park on Madison's east side today. The event is 4 days of music, food, and culture, all while supporting the Wilmar neighborhood. The event runs until Sunday, July 13th. It is free to attend, but there will be several local food and craft vendors there to support as well. You can find more happenings this weekend in the 608 by going to channel3000.com. Looks like we're having some technical issues there. My graphics were not moving forward there. Now I'm on camera.
There you go.
And you look great.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Yeah, it's gonna be a busy weekend on tap. Lots going on. Hopefully the weather will be okay for us.
Yeah, we've got spotty showers, you know. Savannah's been tracking it so far, so it's gonna be humid for anybody going out there.
It's been humid this entire summer.
Yeah, month of July.
I feel like it's been like between the rain and the humidity, like it's been pretty rare. Other than last night for concerts on the Square, we haven't really had a lot of great weather so far. So
yeah, I feel that. As if I'm going to these events, I have to put a little bit of extra product in my hair because with the humidity, it just grows.
Oh.
It just grows. Yep.
I have that same problem.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
All right, good stuff, buddy. Thanks for breaking down the weekend
You
for
bet.
us.
Yes, thank you,
Josh is
Josh.
always looking for good stuff in the 608. Got an idea for him? Reach out and let him know about it.
Still ahead, McDonald's brings back a fan favorite and Panera releases an unexpected beauty product. We'll show you next.
Hey, we're back sharing Sean's morning with everyone. Check it out. You know, those dark storm clouds rolling in, but the nice lush green field there and the trees. The color's looking very nice. That red's popping too.
This is like set the tone for summer and how 2025 has been June and July.
So green.
Yep.
Yeah, and we got storms in the forecast, so it's very fitting. I want to thank Sean for sharing his morning with us.
Be sure to send those in. And if you stopped eating at McDonald's recently, maybe due to prices, you might be in for a treat. The fast food giant puts fan favorites back on the menu. Check it out. The snack wrap is back. Turns today for only $2.99. And also back is a limited time only spicy egg McMuffin. So that's that sandwich. Have you guys tried that?
I've got questions about this spicy egg McMuffin.
What's spicy about it?
Right. Is it like the egg that's spicy? Is it the cheese? Is it the bun? Like the what is it? The English muffin?
Right. Maybe they're just throwing some pepper jack cheese on there or something and calling it a spice.
If that's I'm disappointed. If it's just
I just like the
pepper
OG
jack
McMuffin
cheese.
myself, but the snack wrap.
I know. I'm
excited.
excited too. Are you a spicy or ranch guy?
Ranch, regular.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm a spicy girly. but that's fine. And also check this out, mac and cheese lovers, it's Smack and Cheese Lip Balm, a new beauty product from Panera. They partnered with beauty brand Holler and Glow. So we have Smack My Day and Get That Bread. It's all inspired by the Panera mac and cheese bread bowls. Oh. So what do you think about that?
Oh, I'm gonna get a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Gift them to
Put one in my
everyone at work.
car, put one at my desk, put one in my coat pocket, by my nightstand.
Is it going to make me hungry? Like, that's the biggest thing, is like
You know, that's a good question. It probably would.
They probably do that for a reason, because they want you to go.
They want you to smell it and then go to Panera.
Go to Panera.
There you go.
They know what they're doing.
Cheese is good.
Yes, it is.
All right, we're tracking alert day conditions coming up.
This morning, new details in the Middleton double murder investigation. What we know about the victims.
Plus, over 100 missing from floods in Texas as questions remain about emergency notification systems.
And a new TV show sets its sights on rebuilding what some consider Wisconsin's worst city to live in. Hey, good morning, everybody. Thanks for tuning in on a Thursday to News 3 Now. This morning, I'm Chris Stanford.
And I'm Michelle Renee Quinn, filling in for Kyrion Lee.
All right, we have an alert day today. Savannah just issued this moments ago, earlier this morning. Got a chance of some storms, not just today, but the
Tomorrow,
next few days.
Yep, and going on. Let's send it over to her now, live in our studio from Madison. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, guys. Yeah, we did add alert day conditions, mainly because the Storm Prediction Center did add in an isolated tornado, low-end risk, so all modes of severe weather are going to be possible later today. Best chance is basically Madison and especially areas west. That includes Monroe, Lone Rock, and then areas west of Mineral Point, also Camp Douglas and Black River Falls for later in the day. I do think that'll be mid to late afternoon into the early evening and potentially early nighttime hours too. We're waking up with temperatures that are sitting pretty much where we were yesterday at this time. We've got the mid 60s, a couple areas are in the 50s. That's not as widespread as a couple hours ago. What's to come later in the day, we're tracking the lower 80s returning, maybe a couple spots in the mid 80s. Overall, that's our temperature pattern going forward. We'll time out the storms on Future Track coming up.
Thanks, Savannah. And as always, you can stay on top of alert day conditions by downloading the free First Warn Weather app. Find it wherever you get your apps.
New overnight, 13 people are displaced and 8 cats are dead after a fire near I-90-94.
The Madison Fire Division chief says multiple people called from the interstate about a house on fire. That happened around 10:30 last night on O'Brien Court. The fire chief told News 3 Now one firefighter was injured as a result of cat scratches. They saved 5 cats. The Red Cross is helping the displaced and the fire remains under investigation.
We now know the identities of the man and woman murdered in their Middleton home this week. News 3 Now confirming this from an internal email sent to DOT staff. The email said David Pabst and his wife Terry died unexpectedly in their home. The email says that David worked for the State Patrol for more than 38 years. He was the Bureau of Safety Director. Meantime, his wife, Terry, worked as a special education teacher at a Middleton middle school. The couple was found dead in their home on Stonebrook Circle Tuesday. The suspect had already taken off. Officers tracked him to Vernon County, where authorities say he killed himself during a police standoff.
At one point, an observer said that there just was no movement inside the vehicle, and then provided some other details to where we formulated a tactical approach to the vehicle when there were no signs of life, and we saw what appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
The Dane County Medical Examiner's Office has yet to formally name the victims or the suspect. They tell us that could be coming officially today.
We now know the name of the man who died after a bar altercation last month. The Grant County Sheriff's Office has identified him as Jeffrey Cornell of Fenimore. He was found dead at his home on June 30th after being released from the hospital. Cornell was being treated for injuries sustained during an altercation at the Shipwreck Bar in the village of Bagley. The Sheriff's Office is still working to determine his cause of death.
Now to the latest on the floodings in Texas. There, rescuers are entering their 7th day in the search for more than 170 who are still missing. This morning, we are learning some more details about the warnings that did and did not go off. John David Trollinger, a former Kerr County IT director, was part of the team that installed the county's Code Red phone-based warning system. He recorded the moment volunteer firefighters requested that a Code Red alert as early as 4:22 a.m.
Is there any way we can send a code red out to our Hunt residents asking them to find higher ground or stay home?
Standby, we have to get that approved with our supervisor.
Some survivors say they only got a code red alert an hour later. Meanwhile, Trollinger says his didn't come until after 10 a.m. The Kirk County Sheriff says they are reviewing the incident.
Next Thursday, the Wisconsin Elections Commission will meet to review an investigation into Madison's missing ballots. The report released yesterday shows poll books were printed too early. It says former Madison clerk Maribeth Witzel-Bale and her staff failed to take responsibility for the ballot.
We did not find any evidence of election tampering. We didn't find any fraud. That's not what we found. What we found were processes and people that prevented those votes from being counted, and we can't tolerate that.
Whether or not the former clerk is charged will be up to the Dane County District Attorney.
A new bill at the state capitol would help small police departments overcome one of their biggest issues, finding enough police officers. It would offer grants to help departments pay to send recruits to the police academy. And once they've graduated, the bill would also cover the cost for 6 months of on-the-job training. It was written by Representative Clint Anderson, a Democrat from Beloit.
Smaller departments just don't have the ability to do that, so it just creates this vacuum of people being unable to get more staff.
Anderson says that just about every major police group in the state is on board. The bill is currently circulating and could be introduced later this year.
A new lawsuit to redraw Wisconsin's congressional maps by the 2026 midterms has been filed. This 2 weeks after the state Supreme Court refused to hear a pair of lawsuits asking for redistricting by the same deadline. CBS 58 reports a bipartisan coalition named the Wisconsin Business Leaders for Democracy brought the lawsuit. They filed this with the Dane County Circuit Court instead of directly with the Supreme Court. The coalition argues the current maps are unconstitutional because they are anti-competitive gerrymandering.
Madison school leaders working to figure out how the federal withholding of grant dollars will affect students and staff. At a press conference, the superintendent said that funding was intended to support Madison schools and other Wisconsin public school districts. Dr. Joe Gothard discussed how students, families, and staff are impacted.
But it's one without the help of the federal and additional help from our state government that's going to continue to repeat itself. So unfortunately, it's likely a cycle.
Thank you.
The district is set to see a $12 million drop in general aid.
In national news, you may soon see a new TikTok app in the U.S. That's as President Donald Trump has repeatedly delayed enforcement of a law requiring TikTok's China-based parent company to sell it or face a ban in the U.S. Now, the president says there is a buyer. Meanwhile, TikTok is reportedly building a new version of the app just for the U.S. It could launch as early as September.
Department of Health and Human Services canceling a meeting of expert advisors on preventative health care that was supposed to happen today. The group sets recommendations for cancer screenings and other preventative care. An HHS notice says moving forward, the agency will continue to work with this task force for the health of Americans. It was last month HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. dismissed a CDC vaccine advisory committee and named 8 new members.
Click to cancel is now a no-go. A U.S. appeals court has blocked a rule that would have required businesses to make it easy for consumers to cancel subscriptions and memberships. As easy it is to do that as it is to sign up. Now, the rule would have applied to everything from gym memberships to digital streaming and e-commerce. The FTC passed the click to cancel rule during the Biden administration. The appeals court said the FTC failed to conduct a preliminary analysis of the costs and benefits of this rule, which was set to take place next week.
All right, so a new A&E series is setting its sights on rebuilding Beloit.
The show called Betting on Beloit focuses on Diane Hendricks and her daughter, Kanya Hendricks' mission to revitalize the city. It will follow Kanya and her team as they purchase, restore, and reimagine historic homes. Kanya says Beloit has a bad reputation after it was voted the worst city to live in the state by USA Today.
We just really want to change, Beloit's reputation because we think that it's entirely false and inaccurate. Just in the past handful of years, we have new hotels, we have a ton of great restaurants, we have the new minor league baseball stadium, which is a beautiful stadium, and a new charter school working on the education system. It's just the momentum is just so exciting.
The city of Beloit holding a Betting on Beloit watch party. It's this Saturday at the public library. It's free. Begins at 11:45. If you can't make it to the watch party, Betting on Beloit premieres on A&E at noon on Saturday.
Will you be tuning in?
I think it's a fascinating look. You know, the restoration like that on this scale, when you're talking about a whole city. I mean, they think the reputation that Beloit has is, I think, sensationalized a bit. I mean, it's a lovely community. So to see what Diane Hendricks and her family can do, I'm curious to see that, like what they've been up to and what they're capable of doing with their kind of resources.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the Ironworks YMCA that they built down there is pretty nice. I actually used that when I was living down there a couple of years ago. So lots of good restaurants too down in Beloit.
Okay.
Yeah, have to try some.
Check it out, A&E noon on Saturday.
Yeah.
There we go.
Well, we're tracking alert day conditions for later in the day, and that's mainly going to be mid to late afternoon, early evening, and nighttime hours. Madison and areas west. We'll talk about the threats and time that out coming up.
Also ahead, we're working for the weekend in the 608 this morning. I'll have your 3 things to do coming up.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
Well, good morning and happy Thursday. We do have a little bit of fog. That's what we're waking up to right now. A few spotty showers too, but overall this is the quiet part before the storm threat later in the day. Temperatures right now mid to upper 60s across most of southern Wisconsin. We'll see temps climb into the lower to mid 80s. A little bit of sunshine, but I think the storm threat that's going to come later in the day. Can't rule out a few spotty ones in the morning, but the alert day conditions that'll be in place for Madison and especially areas west mid to late afternoon today, evening and early nighttime hours. The storm threat will linger into not only tonight but also tomorrow and Saturday too. That'll be ahead of the cold front. We've added the alert day mainly because the Storm Prediction Center did introduce earlier this morning an isolated tornado threat. All modes of severe weather are going to be possible. This is the outlook. I did leave Madison included in the alert day conditions, but the best chance is anywhere in the green. So Monroe, Lone Rock, west of Camp Douglas and west of Black River Falls, Viroqua, La Crosse, Prairie du Chien, Platteville, and Dubuque, all in those areas too. It's low level, but because of the isolated tornado threat, want to make sure that everyone is weather aware for later in the day. Still could see yet a few showers and storms this morning, late morning, but I do think our eyes are on the mid to late afternoon as the storms move out of Iowa, Minnesota into southern Wisconsin, really hitting on that evening and early night time frame as well. We're still going to have pockets of heavy showers, maybe some flooding because it is possible we get a lot of rain in the next couple of days through Saturday, and then dry weather going to return by Sunday. Here's the difference between the outlook. We do have the yellow tomorrow that's south of Monroe and Janesville, but it doesn't come with an isolated tornado threat that's close to us. So that's why we went with an alert day for today. We're still holding off on that, but keeping a close eye on that for tomorrow. If they bring the yellow color up or introduce an isolated tornado threat, we will call for alert day conditions for tomorrow too. But ultimately, everyone across central and southern Wisconsin in that marginal level 1 out of 5, and then northern Illinois included in that 2 out of 5. And then Saturday, similar story where we have that green threat, marginal risk. So any storm that does form today, tomorrow, and into Saturday has the possibility of producing gusty winds, hail, heavy rain, and then we've got that isolated tornado threat today. After that, Sunday, better weather is going to return and temperatures will be a little bit warmer, 84. We'll have less humidity though, believe it or not. So a little bit better just slowly as we gradually head into the second half of this upcoming weekend.
Okay, you just said less humidity.
Yeah, even though it'll be warmer because the storm chances decrease, so that's good. It'll still be humid,
That's
but
good
less
to know.
humid.
Less humid than we've had.
Exactly.
Okay, so
those dew points come down to the lower 60s, which is kind of what we had yesterday, around that.
All right, thanks, Savannah.
Got to get to this active stretch.
Yes.
Thank you. Hey, we're looking for some Plan Your Day videos. You can record a video, or now you can send a picture or even an email. Share your name, where you live, send it our way. Savannah will give you a personalized forecast. Hey, it's Thursday morning. That means we are working for the weekend in the 608.
Josh Sprider is here now with your weekend planner. Good morning.
Hey, good morning to you two. Another busy weekend for us here in southern Wisconsin. Here are my 3 things to do this weekend in the 608. First up, the annual art fair on the square returns to downtown. The Madison Museum of Contemporary Art is hosting the 67th annual event on Saturday and Sunday. New this year is a beer and wine garden as they partner with Working Draft Beer Company and Square Wine Company. You can find a full list of participants participants on channel3000.com. Also a heads up, because of this event on the square, the Dane County Farmers Market will be at Breeze-Stevens Field. Also happening Saturday and Sunday is the 46th annual art fair off the square. This is along Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. It's sponsored and produced by the Wisconsin Alliance of Artists and Craftspeople. It's a nonprofit formed to promote and create contact between Wisconsin artists, craftspeople, and the public. WAAC takes pride in having been created and operated by the artists themselves. And finally, La Fête des Marquettes returns to McPike Park on Madison's east side today. The event is 4 days of music, food, and culture, all while supporting the Wilmar neighborhood. The event runs until Sunday, July 13th. It is free to attend, but there will be several local food and craft vendors there to support as well. You can find more happenings this weekend in the 608 by going to channel3000.com. Almost the weekend, guys.
Almost. Are you guys ready for it?
I'm always ready.
Bring it on. What are you doing this weekend, Josh?
My husband actually has the weekend off, which is pretty rare for him. So I think we're going to spend some time on the lake with some friends, maybe go up to the Wisconsin Dells.
Okay. So, I was just there this past weekend on Saturday.
Oh, were you really?
The Dells. Yeah.
Was that your first time at the Dells?
Oh, gosh, no. I live in Illinois growing up, so
true.
Our little vacations would go to the Dells.
That's like Disney World for Illinoisans.
Basically, yes, basically. The upside down house. There's so many things to do. So
there are.
Yeah, it was packed.
Busy weekend in Madison. You're gonna have to watch out for those storms.
It's hard. I know that's the biggest thing. Like we're trying to jam everything into every weekend of summer that we possibly can, and just think we're almost like halfway through.
It's flying by.
I know. I don't even want to.
Don't say that.
It's like that post-July slide. I'm depressed already.
I don't want it. Yeah. I want to keep the summer. I like the temperatures. I like the warmth. I like that there's so much to do in our city.
Yes. Gotta take it all in.
All right. Well, thank you, Josh.
You're welcome.
Josh says, I was looking for inspirational stuff to share with you folks in this 608. Got an idea? Reach out and let them know about it.
And if you're heading to La Fête des Marquettes or the Willie Street area, be aware of road closures. South Ingersoll will be closed between East Main and East Wilson. That's now until Monday, July 14th. And South Brearley will be closed from East Main to Capital City Trail from noon on Friday until 10 p.m. on Sunday.
Well, here's an opportunity to help out a worthy cause. Saturday, a Wanakee boy is showing up to honor his late sister's battle with cancer through a Lemonade fundraiser. Ada Swenson passed away July 23rd, 2023 after a 14-month battle with acute leukemia. The nonprofit Ada's Spark was created to focus on improving childhood cancer treatment and help support the families. Her brother Oliver is raising funds for Alex's Lemonade Stand Foundation on behalf of Kids Wanna Care Center. Ada Spark merchandise will also be available along with the lemonade. So you can just head to that stand from 10 o'clock to 1 p.m. on Saturday. Here's the address. Maybe you want to write it down, put it in your phone. It's 1444 Blue Ridge Trail.
Also this Saturday, the Salvation Army of Dane County is kicking off their annual campaign to support local shelters and services. The Summer Kettle campaign stations bell ringers across 20-plus locations in the local area until August 2nd. The charity says this campaign is, quote, one of its most urgent yet. All donations will be matched on July 19th and July 26th. Volunteers are still needed for this year's campaign. You can sign up for a bell ringing shift at ringbellsdane.org. Each shift makes about $100 per hour in donations. And coming up in the morning sprint, how a plant-based diet may help your digestive health.
We had a birthday to celebrate today. We want to wish you a happy third birthday. Tamalia, happy birthday, kiddo. We're back with the sprint right after this.
Happy birthday.
Time for the morning sprint.
New overnight, 13 people are displaced and 8 cats are dead after a fire on O'Brien Court near I-90 and I-94. The Madison Fire Division chief says multiple people called from the interstate of a house on fire. That happened around 10:30 last night. The fire chief told News 3 Now one firefighter was injured as a result of cat scratches. They did save 5 cats. The Red Cross are helping the displaced, and the fire remains under investigation.
News 3 Now has confirmed the identities of the victims in this week's double homicide in Middleton. Through an internal email to DOT staff, we learned David Pabst and his wife Terry died unexpectedly in their home. The email says that David worked for the State Patrol for 38 years. Terry worked as a special education teacher in Middleton. The Dane County Medical Examiner could release the official findings, including the identity of the suspect, today.
Next Thursday, the Wisconsin Elections Commission will meet to review an investigation into Madison's missing ballots. The report released yesterday shows poll books were printed too early. It says former Madison clerk Maribeth Wetzel-Bale and her staff failed to take responsibility for the ballots. Whether or not the former clerk is charged will be up to the Dane County District Attorney.
Eating a plant-based diet may reduce your risk of inflammatory bowel disease. Research published in Molecular Nutrition and Food Research found that people who ate a healthy plant-based diet had an 8% lower risk of ulcerative colitis and a 14% lower risk of Crohn's. There is such a thing as an unhealthy plant-based diet, though, according to this research, which includes more vegetable oils, which raises the risk of IBD.
President Donald Trump is threatening Brazil with a crippling tariff of 50% starting August 1st. In a letter posted on Truth Social, President Trump alleges Brazil's President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva is undertaking a, quote, witch hunt over charges against the former president. He has spoken about his friendship with President Trump. The former president is facing trial for allegedly attempting to stage a coup. That's the former president of Brazil.
In Texas, rescue teams continue to look for more than 170 still missing following the flooding. Search teams combed through the grounds of Camp Mystic yesterday as 5 campers and a counselor remain missing. Texas's governor ordered flags to be lowered to half-staff throughout the state for the next 4 days to honor the victims.
We're tracking alert day conditions later in the day. Once we get to mid to late afternoon, that'll carry us into the early nighttime hours too. We're watching to see if we need to go with an alert day for tomorrow too. And the storm threat is even going to continue into Saturday. By Sunday, better weather conditions will return. Today's threat later and all modes of severe weather are going to remain possible because that isolated tornado threat. That's why we went with the alert day for today.
All right. Savannah, CBS Mornings is next. Our next newscast is at noon.